This is Chris Hansen.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
It's your favorite basketball player, Tyler Hansbrough.
This is Jamie Hudson.
This is TJ Houshmandzadeh.
And I'm going to let y'all know something.
Duke sucks and Duke will always suck.
You're listening to
It Just Makes Sense.
It Just Makes Sense.
Football is back, and so are we, boys. Listen, this podcast is not about being right. It's about being entertaining, and sometimes right. That game couldn't score any points to save its life.
Jalen Hurts looked at the camera and said, Peter, you're fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about best quarterbacks in the league. It's always Josh Allen. And if anything, Jalen Hurts gets disrespected in majority of those lists. Well, Jalen Hurts has taken the Eagles way farther than Josh Allen has ever taken the Bills.
Josh Allen is doing more with less, and Jalen Hurts is doing less with more. We're back. Clear eyes.
Full heart!
Can't lose.
Play like a champion! Now that we're recording the difference between masturbation and jerking off, you react.
Tears.
That's it.
That's the biggest factor. That's the biggest
Crying.
variable. Tears. There's tears when you're masturbating, and there's anger when you're jacking. There's aggression when you're jacking.
I think that I would agree with that.
How many times have you cried during masturbation?
I don't think I've ever.
Are you asking
Not
how
even
many,
out of guilt.
Are you asking
Or
how
after?
Are you asking how many times have you cried during masturbation? How many times have you cried during all of like jacking off and masturbating? Are you just referring to the sensual part?
No, I'm referring to the entire spectrum of masturbation.
So I'll give you a percentage. If I'm jerking off
I'm glad he's-
minimum once a day.
That's really your number?
Well, I'm just on average, like on the weekends, I'm probably jerking it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But on the work day, I'm probably jerking off in the morning, and that's it.
So then your average would be higher.
Sure, let's say 40 or 45 times in the month. I'm probably crying.
So you're at like 1.5
to 1.7 per day.
Yeah, okay.
I'm probably crying. Let's say 45 times in the month. I'm probably crying in 30 of those.
That's fair.
That's a high percentage.
Yeah, but it's not. I think
No, and I'm realistically though.
people picture
31.
bawling. Like crying isn't necessarily like bawling your eyes out.
No,
Maybe
just
like
a tear.
You
A
shed
single
a tear.
tear.
Yeah.
For all the fallen soldiers that won't become children.
I don't care about them.
What are you crying about?
What you crying about?
G-Baby and Hardball.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah.
Yes.
Because
So-
Booby didn't laugh.
And Booby got in the car and he's like, all I want to do is play football. I don't want to do nothing else.
So our scale is Jake Gyllenhaal, jarhead, jerking off. 4-year-old virgin, Steve Carell, masturbation. Cool. Just so y'all know,
Yeah.
that's the compelling things that you get.
Be sure to write that down.
On It Just Makes Sense.
I'm sure you can get that anywhere.
A lot of jerk-off talk on the internet these days. Jerk-offs talking jerk-off.
We probably shouldn't have started that way.
No,
We
probably
lost.
not. But that's,
How many people do you think with like because how they show it
going.
in Hollywood, I don't think it's very realistic when like someone is getting ready to jerk it and they grab fucking a box of Kleenex and lotion. How many people actually use lotion every time they jerk it?
No, there's a
That can't-
lot
that's-
better ways.
That's
than
like
that.
a special occasion.
Yeah, there's a lot better ways.
I'm saying,
than
yeah,
that.
that's not realistic. Like people aren't just pulling out the fucking Vaseline every time.
But you're a notorious raw dogger.
Yeah, I don't use anything.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in the shower, then I use shampoo.
Yeah. But
really?
But, oh no, that's where you get acid burns. Don't accidentally put that tea tree stuff on your dick either.
Do you ever get spicy peel?
I mean, I don't. I've never had that, but I like the feeling when I have like Head and Shoulders. I like the feeling of my dick like fucking cold.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you like the tea tree effect?
I don't think it's as intense as like a tea tree or like a icy hot. It's just the whatever's in that ingredient in the shampoo.
It's the same effect at a smaller scale.
Yeah.
Way smaller, and I
You
enjoy
like that?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Woof.
Yeah, my dick can take a beating. Sack up.
All right.
Sack up.
Anyways.
You know who should sack up is Brett Favre and his Parkinson's disease, huh?
Jesus.
I thought we were on a bad run.
Yeah.
We can go on tangents about jerking off.
right.
It still wouldn't be as bad as that
Well,
fucking
I was
drop.
gonna parlay it into my own professional diagnosis, boys.
All right, let's hear it.
I went to the doctor today.
You have Parkinson's.
No. I have flat feet. That's it. Which we knew all along. Right up there, me and Brett Favre.
There was a split second there where I was like, is Peter really going to announce that he has Parkinson's on our fucking stupid ass podcast?
That would be no, and now I've just
That'd be
made
so
a
wrong.
mockery
I'd be
of
like, just stop recording.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay, so we're done.
it. Yeah, we can't do this anymore. So, I mean, that now I feel bad.
You should.
No, but like Brett Favre's like a bad human, so like we're okay to. Like,
He takes one dick pic with Crocs on.
No, he defrauded a whole Social Security welfare community in
Who
Mississippi.
wouldn't do that?
Well, I suppose
Wouldn't you?
no, of course
If
not.
presented the opportunity,
Of course
Pete.
not.
Peter, you've stolen shit in your life. Like, how are you looking at Brett Favre like he's a terrible human being and he deserves Parkinson's?
Well, we gotta get Brett Favre to come back down to earth a little bit.
Come on the pod, Brett.
Yeah, come on the pod. Explain.
Hey,
yourself.
you piece of shit. Yeah, come in here.
Yeah.
Be a guest.
Let's see. When we're talking about coming back down to earth, I myself came back down to earth in week 3, boys.
So you're not the best gambler?
Well, I mean, like I probably still am. I will tell you what. So I lost about $80, $90, maybe $100. Maybe a little
That's
more.
like $150
Yeah. And so here
on $10 bets.
Yeah. So here, let me tell you. So here is where I wouldn't say sniped, but this is where I got screwed. So I had a number of bets tied into the Saints-Eagles game, and that game couldn't score any fucking points to save its life. It was in the second quarter. You're talking about the Saints that had gone 15 for 15 at a certain point in getting a chance to score. Eagles high-octane offense, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, rubbing and tugging down the field. And then they score 3 points in the first half of that game. I bet that game down 13 points. I did a monster teaser, shout out Walsh, on how I'm betting down 13 points in each game, and that one got me. And then I had an Alvin Kamara, Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown bet with like some of their rushing yards. That screwed me over. Alvin Kamara couldn't do anything.
I love when we have gambling stories and it's like there's clearly it's not even something to be proud of. You have not lost in sports betting as much as a lot of people,
Yeah, that's true.
including me.
Yeah.
So when it happens to you, my God, it's an explosion. It's like I'm the only one this is happening to.
No one has ever lost.
Like Jalen Hurts looked at the camera and said, "Peter, you're fucked."
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
That's how your story.
I'm going to go ahead and throw yet another interception. But I'll tell you what. Here were my 2 smartest bets, which were also my 2 FU bets of the weekend. I put like $10 each on the Carolina Panthers to win money line and the Los Angeles Rams to win money line, both sitting in the plus 250 to 300 range, and both cash. It was great.
So you won $22 each.
Yeah, but then I subsequently lost that much more. So, anyways, not like this one bettor who cashed $117,000 off of a $250 bet. Did you guys see this?
First touchdown.
It was a first touchdown bet, and I forget who he had. He had, let's see.
Amari Cooper, Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase.
$250.
He was being offered an $11,000 buyout before the Cincy game. And anyone who puts $250 on a parlay, 11 grand isn't good enough. They're not taking that shit.
For sure. So 117. However, his reaction, he was quite animated, quite happy about it. So I mean, he seemed
figures, man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever placed a $250 bet in my life. So
Let alone like to me, it's crazy to place a $250 bet if I take like 3 favorites straight up.
yeah.
But he did that on the first touchdown. You know the likelihood of a fucking first touchdown parlay? That is insane.
Well, 3 of them was to get 3 of them. It was plus 40,700, which was stepped up by 15% on a boost, which took him to 46,000 plus 46,000. So
Must be nice.
But the books still win because you know the 2 things that sniped a lot of people? 3. Vegas losing to the Panthers.
yeah,
Big. Cincy losing to the
Washington.
Commanders.
Yeah,
And an Travis Etienne touchdown.
yeah. Oh,
Those
yeah.
are the 3 things that fucked a lot of people.
I took a live bet on ETN to score in Monday Night Football, and that I also have him on a fantasy team, so I should have known better.
This is how the books work. They shell out $117,000 to one person, and they rake in probably $60 million on Sunday. At least on Sunday alone.
I saw something. I think this is right. They said that like this calendar year, like $435 billion will be wagered in sports books.
Love that.
Insane.
There's like 15 more states that legalized it.
Yeah. And yet we can't even bet on college yet. So
Yeah, I still have a felony weed charge out of Idaho.
bunch of prudes.
For edibles.
Bunch of
For
prudes.
fucking edibles, dude.
Bunch of freaking prudes.
Speaking of which, just to go off track real quick.
Sure, yeah. If nothing else, more back to jerk off talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just moved into my new home.
Congratulations.
Thank
sir.
you, and I appreciate your guys' help.
Yeah, no, we did it all.
So during this moving process, obviously you go through things that you haven't seen in a while. And one thing that I found was the journal I kept.
In jail, your jail journal.
While I was in jail, I documented almost every single day.
And you didn't bring it?
I didn't.
Is it anything compelling, or is it just like...
It is.
It is compelling.
It is.
Okay, so we need a jail journal next week.
You wrote an entire album like with songs and shit.
I was like Lil Wayne.
Never
Yeah.
released.
But yes, it was compelling is the right word.
All right, so next week, the first installment of Jail Journal.
Yeah, I'll have to go through and like
Make sure that you don't stumble your
Or we're
way.
going to filter it? No.
no, just like, flag a few pages or entries that are like, okay, this is worth.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
change the names of the cellmates that you use.
Sure, yeah.
I'm not worried about the cellmates. Boy, was I horny.
You were just Jake Gyllenhaal and all over. You were Jake Gyllenhaal.
Boy, was I horny. That's all I got to say.
There you
Did
go.
were you mentioning names of girls possibly in
And
there?
you were in a relationship at the time.
Yeah.
I get the assignment of renaming the girls that were mentioned in the journal.
What name would you give them?
Leather.
Depends on what I see. I would
Call
just
her
change
Leather.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, very, very interesting reading through that. And it's funny because through the first half of the journal, I was writing how I normally write. And then I just decided that I'm going to start writing in cursive only. And I even mentioned in the first cursive entry, I was like, I want to get better at cursive. So
So that's all we're doing.
that gives you a sense of the mindset that you have in jail. It's like, what can I do that's new?
Was this like you encrypting? Like no one will ever be able to read this.
No,
It's in cursive.
no. I have very good cursive. It's very legible.
I feel like the whole jail journal, it gives you the same feeling as like Facebook reminding you of memories from 10 years ago, and you get that same cringy feeling like, I can't believe I used to say this shit
Oh,
for
yeah.
fucking everyone to see.
I feel like it was less that because I did a pretty good job of just like, this is what is happening. This is what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
It wasn't, obviously there was emotions tied to it. Like, this is what is happening and it's making me mad, or I'm enjoying this, but it's very much so a documentation of what is occurring.
Yeah. Speaking of bad memories and a bit of a tie-in, we had mentioned P. Diddy a couple weeks ago, and I ended up cutting a little bit of that out because it did not age very well. But anyways, 15 years ago, when I was starting to get into radio, I posted a Facebook memory that says Peter has picked a radio name. I was like really like wanting to use not my name. I was thinking about like having a radio name, and so
Sissy.
Right? Well, so someone says like, "What is it? Do tell." And I said, "Hey, so I've been thinking I want to be called Trace, but TR3S, Trace." And I said a lot of people want me to be P. Diddy. But that's already taken, and no one wants to be the junior to P. Diddy, so I'm going to be P. Diddy 3 Trace. Terrible Facebook memory. Did not age well, and it's just bad. It's just not a good name. It's
that
just not
couldn't
good.
be more shit.
You need such a backstory. It was not good.
I feel like
It wasn't good at all.
I try not to look at it unless it pops up, but I cringe every time I'm reminded of shit that I said in 2009 or 2010.
Yeah.
But I think to make myself look better, I just got to look at yours. And it's
or
definitely not just
our
worse.
coworkers.
Right. Let's see if I've got anything from today.
Like, that's not as bad as me saying pregame, then game time.
That gets me every time. Like, no shit.
Pregame, just so you know, what follows it is game time.
Well, 15 years ago, things have never changed. Peter wonders if he has overcommitted himself. Isn't that my life these days? So,
Yeah,
that's
you have. That's the answer.
That's kind of how it goes. It's my life. And at a certain point, it's my own fault, right? So you just move on from that. But anyways,
I noticed that you're wearing the Portland baseball.
yes, you noticed that.
Is that due to the recent purchase?
It was, yeah. I wanted to do a little hat tip to the Portland
What was
Diamond
the purchase?
Project. So they have secured, Portland Diamond Project has secured a spot just in the south waterfront, the Tillicum.
right next to OHSU.
Yeah, the Tillicum walking bridge.
So busy there.
Yeah, it really
Not
is.
great for traffic.
No. Apparently, they're trying to say, hey, there wouldn't be any parking there, but it would all be foot traffic in from the Tillicum Bridge.
Where are you supposed to park if you want to go to a game?
Like, that's what I'm saying. Across the bridge on the east side.
That's poop.
Yeah, it's no good.
Go to fucking North Portland.
It's not great.
So we're saying yes to an MLB team and a WNBA team at the same time.
Yeah, essentially.
I don't know if the MLB team has been given the green light.
Yeah, that's correct. Is that they have secured it just with a hope that in expansion in 5 years that they will eventually be considered.
If they have the land, then it gives them a higher percentage of
right.
yes.
And for them, it just then becomes like, hey, we bought land.
Yeah.
We just have land, and if we don't end up using it, we'll just sell that land. I mean, it's a pretty low-risk thing for them. Apparently, they also still are trying to buy Redtail Golf Course in Beaverton, which would be equally terrible
shitty
as well. So
I would take that over South Waterfront, though.
I agree.
Because the only thing they're shooting for right now is to have...
they want the view.
They want view.
Yeah.
But...
the bridges, the
they're not willing to sacrifice the view to have a
mountain.
Bigger spot.
No, it's
which
a very
is a more convenient spot.
It's a very small spot. It's as small as Oracle Park in San Francisco. It's very tiny.
And they're also like another thing that's getting fast tracked is an NHL team.
Well, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I don't see that happening.
No,
They have a name for it already.
What is it?
I'm just kidding. There's no NHL team.
Oh, you bet.
Speaking of names,
The Portland Dry Ice.
You got a name for your child?
no.
Oh,
Yes. It's Ronnie A.
I was curious
Ronnie.
what you guys thought the WNBA
I guess
name
it's
would
the
be.
Fire. I think they're bringing back Fire.
Are
Really?
they actually?
Like,
I
because
hate
I
that.
saw So the best player back in the Portland Fire was Jackie Stiles.
Yeah.
I follow her on Instagram, and she did like a short video testimonial, like, congratulations, I'm so happy for Portland to have their WNBA team back. I'm so happy for the Portland Fire to come back. I think they're keeping it.
I hope they don't.
Yeah. I kind of, for whatever reason, the thing that just popped into my brain was like the Portland Summit or something like that, like Mountain Summit. I don't know.
Portland Summit sounds dumb.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, well. That's
I mean,
but that's kind of the thing.
It's better than
WNBA,
Fire.
Yeah, WNBA, like there's no like good names.
I'd take Fire over Summit.
I wouldn't.
What's wrong with Fire?
I mean,
Bad juju, bad connotations. I don't
a
know.
lot of wildfires in the history of Oregon.
Yeah, you
that
don't
have
want to be
torn up.
You don't want to be culturally insensitive now. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of wildfires.
It's sensitive.
Yeah, we're sensitive.
Las Vegas Aces. A lot of people lose in gambling. You don't see them looking.
But
out
not
for
with
those
aces.
No, yeah, no.
people. That's worse. You ever been busted with aces? It hurts more.
It's rare.
It's not that rare.
Yeah.
Seattle Storm. Storm wipes out a shit ton
You got
of
a
people.
point there.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Tis true.
Come on.
Come on. A little fly going on in here, trying to get in the pod.
Chicago Sky.
Sky.
Sparks.
It's just bad sometimes.
The Sparks, the Mystics, the
Sparks.
Fever,
Sparks is another form of fire.
The Fever. That
Can't have
no
a fire
one-
without a
Fever. Plague.
spark.
Yes.
Fever.
Fever's not good. Yeah. But Liberty. Everyone loves Liberty.
Oh, it depends what color you are.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
So they should be called the Portland Life or the Pursuit of Happiness.
No. That's,
Oh, okay.
That's not what I was thinking.
Okay. We're
Portland
incorrect.
Vegans.
Yeah, sure.
The
you think if-
Portland Porks.
Do you think if they called them the Portland Diablos, so like, Devil is a normal sports mascot, like
Oh, I know where you're going
Red
with
Devil,
this.
Blue Devil, Portland Diablo. You think that would make people think about the strip club?
Of course, yeah. That's
But for only people from here.
I would
mean,
think of
people
the
outside
pizza window outside of Diablo.
What?
There's a pizza window.
You've never been there?
You've never heard of the pizza window outside of?
I've never been to Casa Diablo.
Really?
I haven't
Yeah.
either, actually.
I've been
Really?
to a lot of
Yeah,
strip
never-
clubs. I've
never
never
heard
been
of
to
this.
that
It's
one.
not a strip club.
What?
Casa Diablo is a strip club.
What am I thinking of?
I don't know.
You're thinking of Dante's.
Jesus,
Yes, I've been to that pizza window.
Yeah.
You
Might
fucking-
be also devil. Also devil related.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
That's my B. My B.
pizza
Your
window.
B.
I have been there. Casa Diablo, I didn't know.
Dante's. Shout out.
I have been to Casa Diablo. Boy, howdy.
Yeah, I heard it gets wild.
Yeah.
They have more energy. They don't eat meat.
That is true. They're feistier.
They don't get weighed
They're
down.
angrier. They're repressed energy.
You don't have red meat. You're kind of just floating. You're lighter.
Yeah.
You get to, ram somebody's vag with your head because you get to. You're floating. You're free.
Yeah.
That's what vegans are, right?
Yeah. It's spot on. Took the words out of my mouth.
right out of the mouth there. So.
Anywho.
Sports.
Sure.
So a bullshit game, if I may say so myself, over the past weekend. Colorado versus Baylor. What an incredible finish to that game. But if that ends up being the game that ends up deciding our bet between 5 and 6 wins.
See, you said that in our text chain, and it's like any of the wins could be like how
Right, but I mean, like, think about the improbability of what happened, not only to not catch that pass at the end
So
of the
you're
game, but to catch that pass to then, eventually send it into overtime. That's all
So
I'm
you're
saying.
saying like if they end up at exactly 6.
Yeah. If it's at 6, and it could have been 5.
Well,
it's gonna come down to 3 games because Kansas is a win and Texas Tech is a win. That brings them to 5. There's 3 that's gonna decide this bet. The Kansas State,
lose.
Arizona,
Toss up.
UCF. They're dogs on that one. I
I
don't
think
think
they
they're,
beat
I don't think they're beating
UCF.
Utah. I don't think
No.
they're beating Oklahoma State. So those are the 3 because Kansas State was like ranked 13th. got their ass whooped on Saturday. Now they're
BYU.
23rd. Arizona went from 20th to unranked.
Yeah.
And UCF, they're ranked, and they're 14-point favorites. So that...
But they haven't played anyone. I think Colorado beats UCF this week.
If they win any of those games, I think you're fucked. Because Kansas
Yeah.
and Texas Tech are wins. Those are wins.
You think Kansas State to win?
No, Kansas.
Oh, just Kansas.
Kansas and Texas Tech are
Yeah.
horrible teams. Those
Yeah.
are wins for them.
Well, we shall see. It wasn't. I mean, just watching that as like a sports fan. Additionally, the San Jose State Washington State game where like 106 points get scored. Like those are fun.
Yeah, it was
right?
electric.
No one likes a good like game of the century like LSU and Alabama played a few years ago, where it was 3-0 or whatever was the final score, 6-3, right? Like, you just want chaos, and both of those games had absolute chaos through.
And honestly, for that Colorado game, everybody's talking about that final play in regular time where, he catches that improbable ball. But that defensive play by Travis Hunter
Absolutely, yeah.
at the goal line
Stood him up, yeah.
to put his helmet on the ball and to create that fumble, that is by far the best play of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And then credit to Shedeur Sanders for, like, in that moment, I'll give him his flowers there, where...
Oh, my God, he'll be so grateful.
I know he will be. He listens to it all the time. But, I mean, like, to be able to come back after that drop ball and be like, all right, we've got no shot. That was our one shot. And then to be able to do it again, and then to have the receiver catch it more improbably than the previous time. I mean, I think we were talking about that.
It's almost like they're good.
They're not good. But that was a good play.
Yeah.
And he got lit up on that play, too. Both times, I think.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. So I'll give him the flowers on that one. But
you could almost be like,
Man.
if he did it one time, then it's like, oh, that was lucky. But then he does it twice. And then you're like, oh.
Man. Weird, right?
Yeah, well, the second time the receiver bailed him out. So
Yeah, definitely. He doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's all credit to the receiver.
Yeah, because
Maybe the ball was magic.
it was
Deflated,
ball.
maybe?
Yeah,
he put, somebody put that ball in a position where only that one guy could catch
it's
it.
true.
Wind.
It was
Because in Boulder, it's different.
Yeah,
The wind's different.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and they're not used to that because they don't practice there every day.
Yeah. Weird.
Weird. It was also, I mean, who knows? Maybe they called that game right at the end. I mean, I think it was the right call where Travis Hunter stuffs him and he doesn't cross the goal line. Fans start rushing the field. You just go, even if he had crossed, you're like, there's no way.
Yeah,
that he
it
can
was
do
like
this.
the Cal Stanford game
Yeah,
of
true.
way back.
Or the Arizona State Oregon game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was waiting for the refs to pull people off the field, but thankfully the replay.
And once they
pretty
saw the
quickly.
replay, it was
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Another game. So we had talked about. I mean, I don't know if. Tell me if I'm right or wrong on this one.
Wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, you might. Did I jinx Nebraska?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Nebraska, everyone was thinking, oh, they could be 7-0 and like in the top 10 by the time they face Ohio State later on this year. Come to find out, they are just exactly the Nebraska that they have been for the last decade. They're almost 3,000 days removed from beating a ranked opponent. Let that sink in. The last time Nebraska beat a ranked opponent was Mike Riley over Oregon in 2014 when Oregon was ranked 22. They have not since then beaten a ranked opponent in the
That
regular
Mahomes
season.
wannabe looked like shit in that last drive. Because that was actually a very competitive game. Because Illinois is not some janky ass team. Like
No, I mean they were ranked.
They're
Obviously
a good
ranked.
team,
Yeah.
even ranked 24th. But that game came down to overtime. Illinois scored, and you just thought this is one of those games that's gonna go back and forth, 2-point conversion, and all that. That Mahomes wannabe kid just did nothing on that last drive. They were like 4th and 39, and he was getting sacked. They were losing the ball. They were not blocking. And it's like they just gave up on that last drive. Like nothing happened. Didn't even give themselves a chance. Which made him look horrible because people are already fucking shitting on him and mocking him for trying to be Patrick Mahomes, doing the same warm-ups and all that shit.
Have you seen his younger brother?
It looks like Jackson.
Yeah. Exactly.
I've seen that the kid also plays.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just committed to Nebraska.
Let's see. Did Nebraska? So Nebraska gets bounced from the top 25, right? Or were they not even in it at that point? Not there, anyways. One team that got themselves a little bit more recognition, the Tennessee Volunteers. Fuck Tennessee. But, I mean, obviously looking great against a good opponent in Oklahoma, in the Boomer Sooner. But then, what was the other? Oh, yeah, we obviously wanted to talk about USC and Michigan. We talked about that a lot last week, about the implications that would happen for Oregon in relationship to this game. Michigan prevails. USC goes back home with their tail between their legs. I forget exactly what the stat is, but like I'm pretty sure that Michigan just ran the ball the entire game. They didn't throw the ball hardly at all.
No, they absolutely did not. They rammed it down their throats.
The whole poll weekly is such a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, preseason AP poll is a joke. Throughout the entire week, the entire football season, it's a joke. It really only matters when they make a final decision on who's in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like this week, Oregon had a bye. And then polls came out, they move up one. How the fuck do you move up one when you didn't play?
A bye's a win, baby.
Yeah.
That is
not a loss.
Absolutely ridiculous. Like, you are not playing, and you get the advantage of moving up over other teams that played. It's crazy.
This is the first year that I haven't looked at the AP poll once since before the season started. I looked before the season started, but since then, I haven't even checked it.
Yeah. We'll see what it looks like here when what is it? I think beginning of November is when the first one comes out.
I'll tell you, the top four isn't changing.
Yeah.
The top four is staying top four. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Texas.
Yeah.
Those four are going to stay throughout.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to talk here in just a moment about Alabama and Georgia, the game coming up this week. But you had 32 yards. Alex Orgy, friend of the pod, if he doesn't know it, he is now.
We do love orgies.
Yeah. 7 of 12, 32 yards. 290 yards on the ground for Michigan. So,
boy, howdy.
And you're not scared of that?
I mean, absolutely, you should be.
Your Oregon line isn't going to be concerned about that at all at the big house with your line that's nowhere to be found?
See, when you say that, it's like, yeah, of course we're concerned about it, but that doesn't mean we don't think that they're going to win.
No, this was a direct question to you because you had zero worry about Michigan. You're Michigan, they're not the same. They're in rebuilding stage.
And let me rephrase my opinion. I have minimal worry about Michigan.
Double. I was going to say double down. Minimal is not how I would.
Okay.
Obviously,
I have
USC
minimal worry.
They had some self-inflicted wounds. USC did, but I would say that was as much of a statement win as a team could have, with how people were perceiving USC coming into
minimal
that game.
worry.
All right. Well,
I have medium worry about Ohio
all I
State.
gotta say is that you better.
This is how you know that this is such a homer absurd take. Medium worry about Ohio State. Medium.
Who have they played?
Realistically,
Doesn't matter.
Your worry about Ohio State should be past the charts of you being concerned. And Michigan should be high. Michigan should be high. Ohio State should not even be on the charts. Medium worry against Ohio State.
Yeah.
Boy, I tell you what a rude awakening you're about to experience this season.
So Oregon, Ohio State is going to be on Mitchell's birthday weekend, and then the Michigan game is going to be on my birthday, so you just better not be in a bad mood. All right, that's all I'm saying.
I'm never in bad moods.
I mean, like, the hope is that, like, you'll be euphoric, you'll be elated.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. You'll be past like post nut clarity when you jerk it.
Yeah,
crying a little bit.
yeah. I mean, I feel that I do a pretty good job as an Oregon fan, at least in recent years.
Yeah.
Of, if we lose, I'm sad for an hour and we're back to it.
Sure.
Maybe that's what you'll have once you see the final result of the game. It's that post nut clarity where you go, oh, okay, should have been really worried. But you come back to your senses.
But it's just like if you're playing football and you coming to a game that you're outmatched, why would you go into that week with a lack of confidence? If you want to win that football game, you come into it with confidence.
All the confidence
that
in the
applies
world,
to
yeah.
players. That doesn't apply
Bro,
to fans.
It's we, not they.
Yeah. You're
it's
on the
we.
team.
It's the proverbial whee. But let's see. Michigan jumped up where in the polls on that one? They jumped up 6. 6, whereas the biggest leap of the...
I think that's deserving.
Yeah.
USC is not like a shit team.
Yeah.
And what was USC ranked before when they played?
SC was ranked, I believe, 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 11th,
That's
actually.
deserving.
11th, yeah. So, an interesting week. I mean, the Utah-Oklahoma State game was whatever. I mean, it was a close game, but, I mean, I don't want to dwell a ton on that game. What I do want to talk about is this upcoming week where Alabama hosts Georgia for the first time in 17 years.
Alabama wins this one.
They are an underdog at home. This is before Nick Saban time. They're in
First time in 17 years they're an underdog.
They're a home underdog.
Okay, I was going to say, I think they've played in the last 17 years.
First time in 17 years they are a home underdog.
I don't care who wins this game, but I feel like Alabama's going to win this game. I think this Milroe, Alabama team is somewhat, as much as you can say it about this program, they're flying under the radar in a way. And I feel like they're going to beat Georgia.
So, Saturday, you're going to be up at A&A, right?
Yeah.
So put the money on it.
I might. What time is the
Who are
game?
you going with?
We're having lunch with my mom.
Oh.
So I'll be with Ashley and my
I
mom.
do not know what time the game is at. I imagine it is that like midday game. But right now, so this is the first time
This got to be somewhat prime time, like maybe 4 p.m. our time.
Alabama,
Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas.
We'll be there-
4:30 is that
Perfect,
game. Yeah.
because we'll be there at 1, so
Yeah.
I can...
But let me get back to this stat
dogs.
here. So the Crimson Tide haven't been underdogs in any regular season game since 2015, added on to the fact they haven't been underdogs at home in 17 years. They are a 2.5 point. It started at 2.5. It's now 1.5.
So you'll probably
this
get
is-
Alabama at what? Like plus 100?
105.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's not bad.
This is one of those games where I'm grabbing the popcorn and sitting back and watching it happen.
With butter or without?
Well, this is the first time we've had a microwave in
That's
fucking
right. Ever.
years.
That is a
That is
fun fact about
That's a
Braxton.
wild stat.
That
We use our microwave so fucking much.
I haven't had a microwave in 10,
11.
Yeah, probably 12 years.
Yeah, I tried to give you a microwave like 3 times, and
I said hard no.
I was rebutted 3.
I don't want that cancer.
Yeah, but now it's just
We
I got
use
one.
it so fucking much.
We've popped 2 bags of popcorn already.
wow.
Holy shit. Anyways, though,
Did you press the popcorn button?
I don't know. Jared did it.
Okay. Yeah.
Or instead of
faster.
butter, you can do the flavors.
That's true.
The flavors?
Yeah, you can get like cheese.
I don't know anything about the
white
flavors.
cheddar,
Barbecue.
cattle,
What?
Sour cream and onion.
Yeah.
They're just powder. You put them in the pot.
Like with nutritional yeast?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, a little olive oil, a little yeast.
Oh, my gosh.
Fucking shit in the bag. Shake it up.
Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, I'm going to pop my popcorn and watch this game. I have no dog in the fight, and I just hope it's a good one.
Well, there will be a bulldog in the fight.
You have no dog in this dog fight?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Between the Bulldogs and the Crimson Dogs?
the
The Red Dogs.
Is this the only good game on Saturday?
No,
probably?
there's actually.
This is like the first, not the first, but this is everybody's in conference play.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like good matchups across the board.
A big test. I mean, one of Notre Dame's biggest tests of their easy schedule. They've got Louisville this weekend. Who knows? No, Mississippi State's 1-3. That's not going to be. You got Ohio State, Michigan State. You've got Illinois, Penn State.
Michigan State lost on Saturday, right?
They did, I believe so.
I still think that team is good. That team is better than most people think. And I think Jonathan Smith.
Who does Oregon got? Illinois?
They've got
UCLA.
UCLA. Yeah. Yep. So Oregon opens a 24-point favorite over UCLA.
You know, I
They're
kind
gonna
of
win by one.
one of the things I miss about the Pac-12 is you can kind of figure out where Oregon's going to trip because you know those teams.
Sure, yeah.
So now you don't know where they're going to trip because it used to be like it's either Washington State at Martin Stadium or it's Stanford at home or maybe Arizona in Tucson. But now you don't know where they're going to trip. But
Whole new world.
You can kind of think like, I don't think Michigan State will be that easy for the Ducks. I don't think Illinois will be that easy for the Ducks. Purdue, they'll kill. UCLA, they'll kill. Ohio State, they'll lose to. Michigan, they'll lose to. Wisconsin and Madison, while it's snowing, that's not a gimme.
No, I mean, Wisconsin got their ass handed to them by Alabama earlier.
Yeah,
and now
Wisconsin-
they've got USC.
I think Wisconsin.
Oregon's not Alabama. Though.
He almost said he agreed.
But I feel like Wisconsin is not as good of a team as we thought coming into this year.
I tend to
which
agree
is
with
why
Yeah.
I think that it might fall into that category as the Stanford and the Arizona State and whatever, because those are the teams that Oregon slips up against is when they,
Wisconsin's also a team that's their strengths are Oregon's weaknesses.
yeah.
Which
past,
AKA
of past.
is a
Pass.
line.
Yeah. Heck of a coach there, so we shall see. But yeah, so I'm kind of equally with you when it comes to the Alabama-Georgia game. I don't want to say that I'm rooting for anyone. I think I'm probably rooting for Alabama.
I mean,
actually,
I think either team wins, it's good for Oregon.
sure.
Or either team loses, it's good for Oregon. It's either way, we're going to have a top 4 team that has a loss.
Right. So I mean, and then comes the whole debate of how far does a team drop one of those guys, and then is it enough for them to be able to chip their way back into it or not? Obviously, top 4 is good for seeding and bye weeks and all that. Top 12 is really what
and I think it's obviously
8,
much
whatever it
different
is.
with the 12-team playoff because the top 4 are going to go to those conference champions, and one of these teams are going to be the champion of the SEC. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But for rankings, it's I don't care.
I
You want to roll the bet?
What's the bet?
Let's do double or nothing. I'll take Alabama. I mean, it's as even as it gets.
You want Alabama and I'll get Georgia.
Yeah. Just double or nothing. I mean, you have nothing to lose.
What's
Double
my
or
double,
nothing on what?
What's my double or nothing on?
I lost 50 to you for the fucking Cowboys losing to the Ravens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was a $50 bet.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
Me too.
Yeah, all right.
So let's just roll it.
Roll it, bitch.
Are you sure? Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I'm
Yeah.
not being a jack. If I lose a bet, I'm not banking on people forgetting about
no, okay,
it.
let's double or nothing on it.
It's on the ledger.
Okay. Yeah,
We
it's
shook
there.
on it
Okay,
mid-episode.
You're right. Okay.
All right, I'll take Alabama.
Boom shaka. Straight up.
Well, you lose nothing.
Yeah.
So you either win 100 or we're even.
Right, but
Alabama
we're not
wins.
doing it at a point and a half. It's just a money line.
Yeah, I mean, because it's pretty even already.
Yeah,
I'm not going to beg for points when I'm at
If it's
home.
3 points or less, it's even.
Yeah, okay.
If it's rocking at 1.5 and Alabama's at home, then we can just say straight up.
Before we get to the NFL, the busy week in the NFL, I want to get you guys' take on just like the new look Pac-12. When I see what's happening with like UCF and Memphis and Tulane and them sniping Mountain West schools, and obviously there's still stuff going on with UNLV, at least at the point of this taping. When I see it, I just go like, it doesn't get me jazzed up. Maybe there's something bigger where they can like kind of absorb multiple conferences and then be something else. But when I see this version of the Pac-12, I'm not like, ooh, look at the Pac-12 now. They're all of a sudden dominant here. It just kind of...
The only thing that made me excited was when they were only going for schools that had
stayed in it, yeah.
I think it's a pretty normal way to feel that way because you're still seeing them like it's almost like it's not real until you see it together.
Yeah.
I think you'll feel different about the Pac-12 once they have all of those teams. And first, the feeling of just having the conference back will make you feel better. And then second, you're not watching them in different conferences going, well, really this team, really that team?
Yeah.
It's like once they're competing against each other, you're like, okay, this is better.
When I was in Little League, I was a member.
Never in Little League.
Yes, I was. I was a very good baseball player. I was a member of the San Francisco Giants. We had the whole gear and everything.
No shit, huh?
Yeah, and that's how I feel like the Pac-12 is that they are the Little League version of what the Pac-12 is actually was, right? It's like you're trying to be the Pac-12 under the name, but like no one's buying it. That's my take.
But Washington State and Oregon State will still be there. It's not like you completely wipe, like not a single member was left.
I know.
I just feel like once it starts, I don't think people are going to feel the same, like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah. The Gonzaga thing is cool with basketball. Yeah. I mean, it's better to be able to see a little bit more competition. I would have loved to have seen them in the old Pac-12, right? That would have been fun. Gonzaga, Oregon, Oregon State, USC, UCLA, Washington.
But it's smart by Gonzaga to wait until all those folks are gone.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Because they're essentially playing the same people.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be playing
maybe
the
more
same
revenue.
Same teams.
But it's like more revenue going to come their way all of a sudden? It's just kind of same fish type of a thing under a different name. I don't know.
There's so much money in the NCAA. Like the money will be there.
You guys see that Reggie Bush sued the NCAA
for his NIL, yeah.
I hope he wins that motherfucker.
What are the chances?
You know why there's no way he will win? I'm not saying, but I'm siding with him. But you know why there's no way he will win? Do you know the floodgates this will fucking open up?
Yeah.
If Reggie Bush, if they let Reggie Bush win, Reggie Bush, probably the greatest college football player I've ever seen in my lifetime in college, but by no means is the number one when it comes to NIL. If they let him win, if he wins this fucking lawsuit, think about what Johnny Manziel is going to get paid.
Yeah.
Think about what Vince Young, Tim Tebow, Cam Newton, these guys they're like, okay, I'm next.
It'll become class action.
They will drain the fucking bank account
Yeah.
of whoever it is they're taking money from.
Yeah, I bet they settle out.
Did he get his trophy back?
He already
got
did.
his trophy
Oh, that's
back.
right. He did get his trophy
But
back.
this will, there's at least 6 or 7 names after Reggie Bush in college football that's going to open this up. And then this is going to spread to basketball. And it's going to go to Zion. It's going to go to Marvin Bagley. It's going to go to DeMar DeRozan. This NIL is going to be a fucking nightmare for the people they're fighting.
Has Reggie, I mean, and I'm not expecting either of you to know this, has he spoken since the lawsuit? Like, did he kind of, for me, I just wonder, is this, hey, I have the opportunity to get some more settlement money? Or is this like, hey, if we win this could potentially do so much to help the student athlete? And I
think
don't know
he's
if he
taken a
thinks
back
that deep.
seat.
Yeah.
As far as like, I don't think he's trying to be the face and the voice of it. He's letting the legal team figure it out.
Sure.
As far as I've seen.
Could be 50-50. Could be like, let's look out for other athletes that got ripped off in the past. It could also be like a petty move, like, hey, this is what you get for taking my fucking trophy.
Right. I mean,
a little bit of both.
He's been litigious in the past, is why I bring this up, because it's like, hey, I see an avenue to settle out, get more money. When he got injured, when he was with I forget what team he was on.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Saints?
I think he was on the Saints, right? Yeah. And then he got hurt at the Rams stadium. And it was when they had the turf, and he slipped on the concrete, and then he ended up like tearing his knee up, and so then he sues the NFL, the stadium, the owner. He got some injury.
Reg Boy is just a sewer.
So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. It's like,
I was gonna say, if you had the money to go through litigation and the process that it takes to sue, how much would you sue, Peter?
A lot. I mean, it's kind of like the whole Mr. Wonderful thing in Shark Tank, where he just like goes up and just buys a bunch of like trademarks or copyrights just so he can sue people for it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just kind of like, well,
You would have.
I
in
feel
your
like
35
I would
years
sue
of
a good,
lifetime,
good amount.
yeah,
you would have sued at least 20 times at this point in your life.
yeah.
Guaranteed.
I love the
You would
idea.
sue every renter
Yes.
just because they're below him.
Yeah.
I just love
Facts.
the idea of a good frivolous lawsuit. Right? I mean, it's
What's the reason that you're suing these people? They rent.
yeah.
They don't deserve to breathe the same air that
They
I
looked
do.
at me funny. Yeah.
Look at their car. Ugh.
Yeah. I mean, like, maybe a good frivolous lawsuit is.
You need that.
In my world.
You need that.
Yeah.
You deserve it.
Like getting hit by a car, but like not like enough to.
Not hard.
Yeah. But like knowing that they're very much in the wrong.
Yeah. You need a brace,
Yeah.
but it's like a 6-week recovery.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You're really going for big money. You don't get hit by a car. You get hit lightly by like a Walmart truck.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because that's
Tracy
where,
Morgan yourself.
that's where real money
Well,
comes
he got
in.
fucked up.
He did
but-
get fucked up. I mean, it was already.
You risk getting hit by a car with like a couple with no insurance.
right,
Nothing
then
happens
they drive
there.
away.
But a Walmart truck hits you, an Amazon truck hits, even an Amazon Sprinter van hits
sure.
you. Game over.
Yeah.
You're getting millions from that.
True. We'll
Something to think about.
we'll take it into beta and we'll figure that out. So, if we move on to the NFL, is there anything that stood out to you, gentlemen, from the week of?
Jayden Daniels is the best rookie quarterback.
This week.
Also established the fact that he was that good in college and he's taken it to the league. For the people that questioned it, Jayden Daniels is the number one out of those three.
On Monday Night Football, he had more touchdown receptions than he did incomplete passes. 3 touchdowns to 2 total interceptions. Not bad for this guy. He also set a rookie record, I think, for quarterback passer rating or QBR for a game as well in that. Very much supplanted himself as the front runner for offensive rookie of the year, barring injury.
Also, Bengals are starting to get concerning, but it's not because of Joey B.
Right.
It's not because of anything in the offense. It's because of that fucking defense.
Before we get to the Bengals, there's just kind of one more observation that I had from the Commanders game, which was when they kept on cutting to Jayden Daniels. When
Eckler's old.
Well, there was that. I mean, he busted out for like 62 yards on a kick return, which was a career long for him. Then he ends up out for a concussion. But Jayden Daniels and how ready he was for that moment, right? They kept on cutting to him and back and forth between Snyder and Kingsbury and him. And he's kind of like, come on, let's go. Like he was ready for that moment. It wasn't kind of like he was shell-shocked or worried about that. That wasn't a fluke, right? That was as confident as a guy could be for not a lot of experience there. And I thought that was what was ultimately impressive to me when I saw that. It just was uncoachable.
Yeah, but if that pass got picked off, you would have been like, why were you rushing, dude? Why did you listen to the coaches?
I think when it comes to the Bengals, one of the funniest things I saw is, now that Joe Burrow's hair is now more of a frosted tip type of a look, people go, Joe Burrow is now 0-3 as a lesbian. And so I got a kick out of that. The internet
They kept comparing both quarterbacks. Like, oh, he played so much better. No, he didn't. He won. Joe Burrow had like 330 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. His defense couldn't stop Jayden Daniels. That's really all it was. Like,
yeah, the Bengals are not a Joe Burrow problem. It's
the defense.
It's an everybody else problem.
Yeah.
Vegas losing to Carolina, shocking. The Ginger saving Carolina, not shocking. Saints Eagles being low scoring, absolutely shocking. I mean, that ended up at 27 total.
Yeah. Which was, 13 down to 32. So that was over 45, maybe 46 points. So
Packers just keep surprising you with Malik Willis.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row.
Why rush a guy back, right? And then additionally, when you talk about like rushing guys back or not, I thought it was really interesting. You've got the Pittsburgh Steelers sitting at 3-0, led by Justin Fields, albeit like he may not be the sole reason or even the main reason that they are 3-0. However,
but there's no one can tell me that Russell Wilson will be doing better than Justin Fields.
Right.
is doing right now.
So why in the world is Mike Tomlin making this so difficult right now, where on Tuesday he says he's just noncommittal?
Because him and Russ share the same passion for our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
That's probably true. So,
Amen.
Yeah. It is rather... Like, what else does Justin Fields have to do? And I'm sure he's asking himself that question. And maybe on the flip side, Mike Tomlin is talking out of both sides of his mouth. On the inside, talking about staying ready, blah, blah, blah. But it's like...
Or Russ promised them one night with Sierra.
Maybe. That's true.
Who's not taking
Something
that?
to think about.
So...
Goodies.
3-0
My
for...
goodies.
My goodies. My goodies.
You know who's not very goody right now? The Jacksonville...
I need to get a reputation for handling broads. All right, I'm done.
Jaguars.
Fat man scoop. Scoop. The Jags look like absolute fucking dog shit.
Jags are cooked. There is a stat that since 1990, 162 teams have started 0-3. Only 4 of those teams have advanced to the playoffs. I believe that in playoff history, it's at 255 teams, and only 5 or 6 have made it. The last time an 0-3 team advanced to the playoffs was, I believe, 2018, 2019. It was your Deshaun Watson-led Texans.
You know what I hate about this? And naturally, it comes with the territory of being a starting quarterback in the NFL, because that's why you get paid the money. Because you win, you get the credit, you get the praise, but you lose, you get the criticism.
Yeah.
But this is not a fucking Trevor Lawrence problem. Trevor Lawrence is not necessarily playing like shit.
No.
He is
playing
not
like Daniel
he's
Jones,
not
but yeah.
being protected, first of all. Travis Etienne has played somewhat average, and his receivers are like, I don't know how many drops you saw just even in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, the most consistent guy there is Christian Kirk, the guy you can always count on. But they got Gabe Davis from fucking Buffalo. He's not doing a fucking thing.
They got the rookie, Brian Thomas.
The tight end who's now like emerging as a new option, Brenton Strange or whatever. But like, I hate that he's gonna get the fucking blame for this.
Sure.
But,
I mean, it's a new quarterback who just got paid a ton of money.
Yeah.
There's an easy target there.
But it's like, give this guy a fucking break. And I mean that not from fans, but like, let's put some good fucking people around him, because I want to see him last in the league. He's got the skill. But I don't want to see him fall off and become like a Zach Wilson or something.
If I can offer a counterpoint, though, like you're talking about putting good people around him, I would argue that a Josh Allen and a Patrick Mahomes became better quarterbacks when they got rid of their wide receiver ones. Tyreek Hill goes to the Dolphins, and then Stephon Diggs goes to the Texans. I mean, you're seeing early Josh Allen right now, who's being able to distribute the ball, who's not having to go back to the sidelines and get an earful from a Stephon Diggs hothead type of a guy.
How is that the same situation, though?
No.
Who was this wide receiver one? Ever.
No, but what I'm saying is right now, what is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen doing? I mean, like, you're developing other guys. So Rashee Rice or on the Bills, you have who else? Like Keon Coleman, right? Like you've got a bunch of like
but
no-name
You know the
guys.
difference between the 3 quarterbacks you named? They have the opportunity to develop those guys because they have enough time in the pocket. Because those 2 franchises have also invested money to get big boys in front of those 2 franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah, and solid
if you're gonna the same way that Cincinnati did not invest in that, and finally they did, and now Burrow has time to throw. It's time for Jackson. If you're going to pay Trevor Lawrence that kind of money, then save some fucking money for 5 guys to protect him. Because that's what he doesn't have.
But how are you supposed to save money when you're offering that much money is kind of the counterpoint.
Every other quarterback had it. Like the ones that we're saying had an opportunity or a chance to develop and get it to other guys, they have it.
Well, I mean, like Patrick Mahomes has probably the most favorable out of all these mega deals.
He's not making as much money right now as the rest of the guys.
Correct,
But
yeah.
the Bills were able to do it. Cincinnati's able to do it. Chargers were able to do it. Ravens were able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers right now, Joe Alton and another one of their linemen are going to be both out this week. Justin Herbert also hurt. Hopefully he does not play this weekend either. He's dealing with an ankle injury. But yeah, I mean, it's like I think that there are a laundry list of ways that you can look up and down with the Jaguars. And we know, like, when we look at those things, the 3 people who take the blame are Trevor Lawrence, then Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson first, then probably the GM, and then Trevor Lawrence when it comes to that contract. And then if Etienne doesn't pan out, he'll just have never panned out, right? So I think that's kind of where that goes and how I foresee that type of a thing. But did you have anything to add on that, or did you want to talk about your boy Josh Allen?
I mean, he's incredible.
He's your boy again, huh?
Yeah.
One big blowout win. He's your boy again.
I mean, he's always been my boy. No doubt about it.
I think you can play back to season 4, episode 39, when Braxton clearly goes,
I'm done with the
officially
Bills.
off the Bills.
Off the
I'm
Bills.
off Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. And then we get a 37-10 win. My boy did
My guy.
so well on
and
Monday.
they made the playoffs that year, okay?
They
I
sure
was back
did.
on him.
Yeah. So,
But how about the Browns getting the ball back 4 times within the last 8 minutes, down 6? Couldn't capitalize.
yeah, against the Daniel Jones-led Giants. Oh, my goodness.
Browns did one thing right this Sunday, and it's finally get the ball to Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
That's the only thing they did
That's
right.
the only
Yeah,
thing they
and
did
then they
right.
played down to their opponent the rest of the day.
Yep.
And so I wonder if you can glean anything like this, similarly to the Cowboys comeback, right? They're down 28-3 or something like that. Game ends 28-25 or whatever it was. I don't necessarily think that the Cowboys showed me anything. They showed me more when they were down that far. They didn't show me anything in their comeback, personally.
Yeah, I think I've accepted the fact that the Browns are not going to make the playoffs. I think this is a year where we're just waiting for Jameis Winston to come in,
Really?
which is not great.
I think Jameis comes in, Amari Cooper has a fucking breakout year.
Oh, it's going to be electric.
They'll find him.
And that'll be maybe in tandem with Nick Chubb coming back or
Yeah.
something similar to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he should
think
be coming back in the
It's
next couple weeks.
As much money as they paid him, I think, the Deshaun Watson Cleveland
Right.
days. I don't think it's working out. I think it's move on from him.
Sayonara.
That was my next question, where you just go, like, at a certain point, do you just kind of, like, release yourself of that type of baggage?
You have to.
Yeah,
Similar
you have to.
the Bryce Young stuff, right? You cut the cord quickly.
Yeah.
If anything, it shouldn't take this many seasons. Like, you should have seen it in the first one already. And then you should have seen it in the second one. Outside of, like, him being hurt or being suspended. But Deshaun Watson, like, was almost MVP one season. We're not talking about some mid-tier fucking QB. You should see it right away. And it's not happening. If it hasn't
It shouldn't take
now,
that much time.
if it hasn't happened now,
This
it's not
much
going to
time.
happen.
And I commend teams for recognizing that. I mean, we've seen it with the Panthers now quickly pulling away from Bryce Young. You saw it in San Francisco with their quarterback situation. What's his bucket? The guy who got hurt, who was their 5th pick that they traded up
Trey
for.
Lance.
Trey Lance, thank you. Trey Lance, they cut the ties quickly on that.
That guy just sucks.
Well, right, but
That
I
guy's
mean,
not a pro
But it's
quarterback.
like at a certain point, you just go, okay, like we would be better to have a guy like Jameis Winston rather than a Deshaun Watson, who I guess maybe Jameis Winston has a certain other level of baggage, but not recently.
No, not at all. And I think he brings an energy to the team that, and like a personality, like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like people like him,
Yeah,
Charming,
charming,
yes,
Likeable.
a
Likeable.
likability factor for sure.
Where
winner.
I truly think that people don't like Deshaun Watson
yeah.
in that locker room.
You think because it might have something to do to what's under his towel?
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
Get it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move on from that and get to
Do you
our.
think, before you move on, do you
Okay.
think CJ Stroud has a punchable face?
No.
I don't think so. No.
Really? Am I the
No.
only one who... There's nothing about that face that's like... That has that look of like... It's kind of like a baby face with like squirrel cheeks.
Sure.
And then the way he talks, like there's something about him
Yeah.
that
I-
irks me. It irks
I will
me.
say that when
very
he
youthful
when
looking.
he kind of big broed Caleb Williams, that was a punchable moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was his face.
His face.
What was funnier too was the meme that was like "Life comes at you fast," which is like a side by side of him doing that to Caleb Williams, right? And then on the other side, Sam Darnold doing that to CJ Stroud and what happened to them this past week. So
I think CJ Stroud is going to go through a bad sophomore slump.
you do.
Yeah. I don't think he'll... I think everyone who got, like, in fantasy terms, got Nico Collins, Diggs, and Tank Dell, I think you're going to fucking suffer.
Well,
I don't
I've
think
got-
CJ Stroud is going to be who he was last season. I'm not saying he's done, but I think second year, I don't think he will be producing the same as he did
I've got
last
Stroud and Diggs. I don't know if it's in the same team, but on they've got 2 teams this year.
year. That's a bad move. Texans suck.
You talk about slumping, and this is a guy who's not necessarily slumping in the box score or even in fantasy, but the full scope of this player's game, one might be able to say that he is struggling or slumping, and that is...
I guess?
Sure.
Dead air.
So he's good. You could argue that it's not really slumping.
The stats look good, the fantasy looks good, but one could argue there's a little bit more to the story.
Brandon Ayuk.
No,
I have a-
well, that's a good one, but I
have a
I don't
guess.
really think that Brandon Ayuk is the
Guess.
is the SEO quality
Aaron
we're
Rodgers.
looking for. No,
Okay.
I am talking about.
Let me guess.
Okay,
kidding.
one
Who
more.
is it?
Get one more. His name
No,
rhymes
don't
with.
give me the rhyme. CeeDee Lamb.
Jalen Hurts is the guy I am talking about.
Leading the league in interceptions.
Leading the league in interceptions. He has thrown at least one interception in 7 of the last 8 games. He has 27 turnovers since 2023, the most of any player to have that many turnovers. And so when you kind of look up and down his stats, you go, okay, like this guy is very much helping keep you in these games. But at some very critical moments, he is not necessarily helping you. And so, I mean, like Saquon Barkley was, 150 yards, touchdowns. Like he accounted for 14 of your 15 points in that game.
He saved him on that game.
Yeah, you saved him in that game. Like, this is your guy. This is your MVP guy. This is your quarterback. And for whatever reason, it just kind of like it. And look, you look at the stat lines. Guy had 300 yards, but he kept on coughing the damn ball up.
I think Jalen Hurts, if a lot of people feel that way, I think it might be an overreaction. It's not good, but it's not something I'd be worried about because he's throughout college and with Philadelphia, he's clear that he plays favorites on who he likes to throw to.
Sure.
So when you lose somebody like A.J. Brown, you're playing against the top secondary in the entire fucking, like the best secondary. So when you are not able to spread the ball the way that Mahomes does, and they know that, okay, you're missing A.J. Brown. We know where the ball's going. We know the ball's going to Devontae Smith. Like 90% of the time, outside of a couple Goddard throws and maybe a Saquon throw. But when you watch Jalen Hurts play, it is heavy on A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So it's like people are reading him. Unfortunately, he needs to improve that. But
also, we do need to recognize that Jalen Hurts is to you as Josh Allen is to me.
I would say that's an apt comparison.
You do love on Jalen Hurts.
I do love Jalen Hurts.
So I think that you give him a little bit more forgiveness.
A little bit more. I mean, and so this is the
and
clarifying
a little bit
question
more
that I
room
want.
for error.
Is that just like when you think about Jalen Hurts as a whole, and this goes with like NBA players or anything like that, where you just go, this person helps me so much, I'm willing to sacrifice that shit.
I don't think he's doing it on purpose, and then I'm not commending him for it. I think it's a big part of his game he needs to improve.
Yeah,
I'm pointing out what he does. I'm not saying that it's good. It's not good because these secondaries, the cornerbacks, and these safeties are going to read you all fucking day. So I'm not making an excuse for him. That is something he needs to improve drastically, or he's going to be throwing more interceptions than touchdowns this season because Saquon is going to outrun everyone. To the point of Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, between me and you, yes, I love Jalen Hurts. But the difference between those two is Jalen Hurts doesn't get the same attention that Josh Allen does, which is the reason why I dislike him so much.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about best quarterbacks in the league. It's always Josh Allen. And if anything, Jalen Hurts gets disrespected in majority of those lists. Like almost all of them. And maybe sometimes it's deserved when he plays a game like that. But it's like, it doesn't matter what fucking Josh Allen does. If he has a shit game, that's like in the poll, he's dropping 1 or doesn't move at all. And then he beats the Jaguars 37-10. And my fucking God, they cannot wait to just, this is the second coming of Jesus Christ. He's back. That's the difference.
I don't disagree with that. I'm talking more of just like in our realm and who we really like. Because the fact of the matter is that Jalen Hurts is not playing up to snuff this year. There's no doubt about it. Leading the league in interceptions, and you can make the excuse or give the reasoning that A.J. Brown isn't there. Okay. You have one of the most talented offenses. A lot of quarterbacks have success with 1-star receiver and no star running back or no star tight end. He's got Goddard. He's got Devontae. He's got Saquon. I think that there's little to no excuse.
I certainly will not make excuses for Jalen Hurts, but here's the difference. The same way that we were talking about how a quarterback gets praised and gets criticized, however, whatever the team's results are, well, Jalen Hurts has taken the Eagles way farther than Josh Allen has ever taken the Bills.
Well, true.
That's fact.
No
for sure
matter
fact,
what,
yeah.
how we can judge Jalen Hurts, they've done it. They've gotten there. And you can argue that the Josh Allen team that has the best chance when they had Von Miller, they had fucking Milano, Poyer,
Yeah,
Hyde.
I totally agree with
all
that.
of that shit.
Totally agree with that. As far as history goes, you're absolutely right. And I love the Eagles. I love Jalen Hurts. I like to see that team win. I think they're incredibly fun. But this season, if we're talking just this season, Josh Allen is doing more with less, and Jalen Hurts is doing less with more.
Yeah. There was a guy that you mentioned within the Eagles, and it's Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert, where would you think Dallas Goedert ranks among tight ends this season in fantasy points?
Pretty high because
I would say
everybody
like
else.
top 5. Everybody sucks at tight end.
You're not.
Hunter Henry is like the number one tight end.
Yeah.
Kelsey's not there. Mark Andrews isn't there.
Right.
Kittle has had one good game.
And he's out.
And
yes.
he's out.
So Dallas Goedert, number 1 in fantasy this year
Yeah.
at 40 points. If you look up and down the amount of points scored, obviously skewed towards like quarterbacks and such. But Dallas Goedert is number 65 or 66 among all players and is the number 1 tight end with 40 points. I am just so sick of the tight end position in fantasy this year. It is the one year that I had Travis Kelce to choose in the Jimmy's League, and I go, finally, I've never had this guy, and he's just garbage. He's hot
You want to know
garbage.
why?
Because he's out of shape and he
No.
and
I'm
because of
not talking.
Taylor Swift.
I'm not
and-
talking about Travis Kelce. The tight end position in general. Do you know why they're not being
Why? I don't know.
too high safety?
Okay.
That's the thing, and
Yeah.
that's the defense that everybody's running. That's why the passing game has been cut down. That's what
Mel Kiper was all pissed off about the
yeah,
cover
and
too.
fucking what's his name?
Give me a hint.
The guy we just interviewed.
Walsh.
Walsh, thank you. I was thinking Irish.
Irish.
Walsh, he was talking about it when we had him on. The too high safety cover 2 defense has eliminated a lot of passing, and
Seeing a lot more running.
exactly. And the cover 2 too high safety, who does that affect the most? So if you imagine the defense, you've got a safety who's literally lined up right on the tight end at about 15 yards out. So their number 1 priority when a Travis Kelce is coming down the field and running a corner, that's who they pick
That's
up.
his guy.
So that defense that has become super prominent in this year's NFL is eliminating that tight end. That's why the tight end position has been so strong over the last 5 years, and this year has been.
They're finding a way to cut it out.
Yeah.
And if this tells you anything, this is how good the Kansas City Chiefs are. Because you could do this to every team and they'll suffer. You will see a immediate difference with stopping if they have an all-star tight end. You will see a difference right away. The Chiefs are so fucking good, so well coached with a great quarterback that they can have a rookie receiver, a sophomore receiver, and have Kelsey basically say, yeah, you can play decoy. They're going to double you. You're going to get stopped. But they're going to win, and they're going to figure out. They're running jet sweeps. They're running an Oregon State jet sweep in this fucking Victor Bolden days.
Yeah.
And just give it to Worthy. He runs a 4.240. He'll fucking go.
Yeah.
And then if they bite on that, then Rashee Rice is wide open.
Yeah.
And then like Noah Gray is Watson. Those guys are fucking
Yeah,
open.
maybe eventually Hollywood Brown if he ever gets healthy again.
Dude, they're doing this with no Pacheco.
Mark my words. Hollywood Brown is going to catch like a game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl this year.
Well, he'll actually catch the ball, not unlike Kadarius Toney, who had all of those options.
I mean, he also did
dropped
that.
it. Yeah.
To his credit, Kadarius Toney.
Yeah. Let's see. So then I'm curious about alarm bells going off amongst teams. I think that one of the biggest ones for me is San Francisco. They've had a lot of key injuries, a lot of money tied up in those key injuries. You've got Christian McCaffrey, who's going to Germany or in Germany right now to see a specialist for his Achilles. And we all know what happened, when you go overseas for this type of stuff. A lot of stuff that isn't approved or that anyone does in the United States.
Yeah, this was the injury bowl.
Think
the
of
Rams versus the Niners.
True.
Think of everyone that's gone to Germany and how they've come back from that. I mean, you come back fucking brand new.
Yeah.
That's where Kobe got his fucking knees injected. That's where fucking Andrew Bynum got his knees injected.
Yeah. Well, at that point,
Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, it's bad, whatever it is. And so
that's why you go to the magician, whoever that fucking doctor is in Germany.
Whoever that guy is. But again, Ayuk is missing in action. Debo is hurt. Juwan Jennings, an incredible bright star for them, and I mean Jordan Mason as well has stepped in well.
Even before this, like the added injuries outside of McCaffrey, I just felt like they had their chance. I mean, they went to 3 NFC championships?
Yeah, they were like
3
4
games.
or 5 or something like that. Yeah.
I think if you can't get through having 4 opportunities out of 5, I think you're done. Yeah. I didn't look at them this year and think, oh, these guys are going to be back in the NFC Championship. I thought the Packers had a better chance, or Tampa Bay had a better chance than them.
Agreed.
Biggest alarm bell, if I pulled out 3 teams that one would assume would be good but is underperforming, I want you to rank them. The 49ers being one of them. We haven't spent a lot of time talking about this team, but we didn't mention it in the Dallas Cowboys. And then the Cincinnati Bengals at 0-3, trying to do the improbable to make the playoffs when only 4 teams have been
One
able
being
to do
most
that.
concerning.
What is the most concerning, the least
It'd
concerning?
be Cowboys, Niners, Bengals.
Agreed.
And why are the Cowboys most concerning to you?
Because it's still Dak.
Yeah.
The thing with the Cowboys that no other team in the NFL will ever have is their expectations are so fucking unrealistic. It's like you have these high expectations season after season, but you don't change anything. I mean, you're still relying on Dak. You're still paying. This hasn't been the guy for years.
And they've put people in positions like running back, offensive line, things of that nature that are not as good as years previous.
Legacy players, right. You've got name recognition. It's kind of like one of the first years that I started playing fantasy football, and I saw all these players. I'm like, how are these guys here so late right now? Like, they've been good
they're
forever.
40 years old.
Yeah. And so I took all of them, and then they all sucked.
Yeah.
And so that right now is Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones
and the
is
Cowboys.
the worst GM in the league.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. He's the worst GM in the league. I don't think he knows how to put together a team.
Yeah, and now he is...
they have one main focus, and their main focus is number 88.
Yeah.
Like whoever is wearing number 88, we're from Des Bryant to CeeDee Lamb. That is the bright light of the Cowboys team.
Yeah.
And then the line. But then it's going to be Dak. It's going to be Zeke, that's 48 years old, fat.
Couldn't get Derrick Henry
Yeah.
to there.
Rico Dowdle. Whatever. Dodal.
Yeah.
I mean,
More
come
like
on,
doubtful.
Hey-o.
Fucking badump.
Yeah.
You know?
Fucking badump. Before we get in, and I would say that I'm pretty concerned about the 49ers. I am.
Yeah, that's definitely number 2 concern.
Yeah. I would say I think that we're in agreement here that there is the least amount of concern about the Bengals. And
The thing with the Niners
it's not
is like,
good, obviously,
I don't think
especially in that division.
the Niners will accomplish what they've accomplished in the last 4 seasons, but even though they're not going to be able to do that, I don't think they'll get back to the NFC Championship game. But they're so fucking loaded that they'll still have a decent season. It's just not going to be good enough for them or their fans.
Yeah. One more quick nugget before we get into this next week's games. I wanted to get a Bo Nix nugget in here. Broncos quarterback Bo Nix has a higher QBR than Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, and Baker Mayfield. Nix also has more rushing yards than Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. So,
Say
nice
less.
little upset win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this past weekend.
Beautiful.
We'll see if they can't replicate that. All right, so a quick...
There's also a fly in there.
Is there a fly in there? It finally
Yeah.
found its way down in there. A quick run around the league this upcoming weekend. Your Thursday night football game. You've got Dallas, a 6-point favorite over the home Giants. I know that Walsh is talking about staying away from
I'm
home
done betting
favorites.
the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys have been a little bit
Fucked
tough.
me 2 weeks in a row.
Minnesota versus Green Bay, a interesting game, very much on paper, despite the fact that they both have backup quarterbacks.
What's the total there?
Total is 43.5 points.
I like that.
You're thinking about maybe the over?
Yeah, these are two fucking high-powered offenses.
Right. And I do kind of like in a game like this where
We could also buy it down.
That's true. Yeah. Let's keep an eye on that. Maybe earmark that. But when you think again, like wanting to watch a good game versus like committing to that, I think hopefully that this would be a good game with a lot of fun storylines where you go, okay, I just want to see points scored. This is one of those games where you can definitely see some
Green
points
Bay shows that they can put up fucking points.
That's true. No matter.
Green Bay might put that up themselves.
It's for sure. The Green Bay is at home. Very much, weather I don't imagine being a huge factor. Then you have the Jets, 7.5 point favorite at home to the Denver Broncos, riding high. Do we think that the Broncos carry the momentum, or do they get a little bit humbled and come back down to earth?
I think the Jets do better.
Yeah. The money line on that is minus 345 in favor of the Jets. I don't really want to touch this Steelers-Colts game. I do kind of enjoy what the Colts this year. I mean, they're I guess, I don't know. I'm not going to say
at
it because,
Indianapolis?
It's at Indianapolis, only a 1.5 point favorite for Indy.
I think
Actually, no, they're a 1.5 point dog at home.
I think a JT anytime touchdown is a good bet on that game.
Yeah, sure. Jonathan Taylor has been a good fantasy guy this year, naturally. Then you've got the Rams and Bears. That could be another fun game. 2.5 point favorite for the Bears at home. I'd actually even take the Rams as a road favorite there. I know the injuries are kind of a thing, so when it comes down to injuries and stuff, maybe you stay away from it. Saints and Falcons. Falcons at home, 1.5 favorite there.
That's too unpredictable.
Yeah.
Either way, I don't want to touch that.
Bengals only 4.5 point favor over the Carolina Panthers.
I don't know. The Ginger's doing some things. I don't trust.
concerning.
Yeah.
I don't trust that game.
Eagles Bucks. The
I
Eagles.
don't know how that's gonna go.
What about Jags Texans?
I think where is it?
Houston.
7.
And it's at Houston. It's
I'll
a
go.
7 point.
I'll go Houston.
You would go Houston on the money line or with the points?
What's the odds on the money line?
minus 310.
That's too high.
Yeah. 49ers, a 10 point.
Well,
favorite.
mark these. And I mean, are you not confident with what I'm saying? Like, do Texans -7.
Okay.
Do the total. I'm very confident in 43
And a half.
with Minnesota and
Yeah.
Green Bay.
Okay.
What were the other ones that you passed?
Bucks, Eagles, you
Nope.
didn't want to touch.
Nope.
Bengals,
Nope.
you didn't want to touch.
What about a JT anytime?
Can I throw that in the parlay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do it.
Just touchdown
Anytime
scores.
touchdown score.
What's he sitting at?
At plus 100.
Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah, that looks good. Maybe sprinkle in a couple more.
We're a 3-pick at plus 639 at the moment.
Do not touch the Patriots and Niners.
Commanders and Cardinals.
It's a coin flip.
Yeah. Chiefs right now an 8-point favorite over the LA Chargers. Again, the status of Justin Herbert, the line, do we want the Chiefs -8 on that one?
No.
You don't want that.
Why? No. What would you be worried about?
Are we? Because we're unsure about Justin Herbert playing.
Yeah.
He's not playing.
Well, I think that's right. Maybe that
the
would
line
be
says that for sure.
Yeah, the line says he's not playing.
Yeah, I've seen in different avenues that he's not playing. Joe Alt isn't playing. Another lineman isn't playing. I mean, it's basically the Chiefs against J.K. Dobbins.
I feel like this is a trap game.
Okay, I'll stay away from it.
Okay.
Can we come back to it?
Sure.
I'm asking.
How do we feel about the points in the Bills-Ravens game of 46.5? Too high.
Well, we're already sitting pretty at the total odds. See, just buy that down. It's at 46.
46, correct.
Buy it down to
40, 38.
I'd be comfortable with 39.5.
Me too.
39.5
Yeah, so
it
that
is.
brings it down. I mean, that brings it higher still.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go ahead and add that to the books.
What are we at, 4?
We're at 4, and that's at 9-11. 9-1-1.
I don't think we need
Never
to push
forget.
it. Don't push it unless there's something we feel good about and turn it into 5
I don't
legs.
feel good about anything else.
Okay. Let me go through here. Then we've got Titans, Dolphins. Don't want to touch that. The over on the
Browns game? Come on, guys.
No, please.
Seahawks,
no.
Lions?
Seahawks, Lions could be another one that you play the points
that's-
on. But Seahawks could shit the bed and score no points.
Yeah, this is a game that I
But
feel like.
the Lions' defense isn't that good.
Yeah, but the Seahawks defense is good. I feel like this is a game that we've seen every season where you'll see Seattle, Detroit. It's over. It's 47 total, and you're like, this is gonna be a fucking high octane, 60 points total, and it ends up being like 27-7.
Yeah.
I like the bet we have.
Yeah, and the Lions are going to be wearing their black uniforms, so that'll be pretty sweet. So first time they're debuting those.
Let's stick with the 4.
$30.10 each pays $3.03.
I'll take it.
We
Do
okay
it.
with that? All right. Log in, place a bet. So again, if for those playing along at home, we've got Houston -7 over the Jags, over 43.5 for the Vikings and Packers. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown, which I think is probably the best bargain out of all of that at +100.
Don't take a sit.
And then we bet down the Bills and Ravens to 39.5, $30. Or that's 4 picks at +911. $30 pays out $303.55.
Send this to the text so I can post it on our Twitter.
Yes, sir.
Or-
I think
or
you
X.
just had a spider on you, and it just ran off of you.
Where?
That way. That was a gigantic spider, too. Okay,
Where?
let's end this freaking episode because I need to get off this couch. It's off you now. It went that way. No, stop that! Farts! Which, by the way, I'm watching Friday Night Lights again. So,
Really?
yes.
I've been thinking about restarting it.
I watched the movie again this weekend.
Yeah.
Really? The funny thing is when I was at working from home yesterday, I was thinking, what was that line that Mike Winchell said to Booby when he wasn't lifting? And then today,
Hey, Booby.
Hey, Booby.
That's one of my
You didn't finish your...
You didn't leave.
That's my favorite thing to spell phonetically. Hey, booby, you didn't leave.
Oh, goodness.
Shoot.
That is such a great fucking movie.
J.D. McCoy's just about, they're splitting reps there.
You're deep.
You're season
Yeah.
3?
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck J.D. McCoy and his parents.
Yeah.
Especially his dad.
Well, yeah, but his mom, always very, got a lot of cleavage there.
Oh, that's bad?
No, I'm just saying, like, when you talk. Never mind.
All right.
Tits.
Toots.
Boobies.
Clear your eyes.
Full hearts.
Can't lose.
Clear eyes.
Full hearts.
Can't lose.